Imagine this scenario. You're just hours away from boarding your ship. You check your email one last time, and there it is, an offer for a stunning balcony cabin, a $1,500 value for absolutely free. You think, I already have a perfectly fine interior room, and you click delete. That right there is the $1,500 lie. You didn't just pass up a better room, you missed an operational loophole that cruise lines count on you ignoring. Most cruisers approach cabin upgrades with a mindset of hopeful gambling, believing that upgrades are either pure random luck or reserved only for the elite diamond tier members. The truth is far more strategic. The chance to move from an interior to a balcony or a balcony to a suite isn't about being nice to the check-in agent or celebrating an anniversary. It's a calculated, predictable game governed by strict revenue management algorithms. Cruise lines have 3 unwritten rules they use to decide who moves up and who stays put. Rules designed to maximize their profits and fix logistical problems on the ship. If you don't know these rules, you end up paying for space they would have gladly given you for free. Or worse, you make a simple booking mistake that automatically disqualifies you from any complimentary perks. This isn't just about scoring a better view. It's about avoiding the crucial hidden errors that cost you both money and peace of mind, especially if you have specific accessibility needs. What most cruisers do is hope. What savvy cruisers do is strategize. We're going to peel back the curtain on this entire system. Before we get into the bidding and loyalty tiers, you need to know which initial booking decision is the biggest mistake. We're going to reveal the single worst cabin type you can book right now if your goal is ever to receive a free upgrade later in the process. I'm not just another travel blogger who got lucky once. I've been a script producer and cruise industry insider for many years, with decades of cruising experience under my belt. More importantly, I've spent thousands of hours researching the fine print, digging through policy pages, and analyzing the revenue management strategies of every major cruise line. I'm not here to give you anecdotal tips. I'm here to give you the exact criteria that the cruise line's own revenue management teams use to price, offer, and approve cabin upgrades. This is not about being nice to your travel agent. It's about cold, hard, data-driven strategy. We're going to pull back the curtain on the formal bidding programs like NCL's Upgrade Advantage, Royal Caribbean's Royal Up, and Celebrity Cruises Move Up, showing you how they calculate the minimum viable bid. We'll also break down the hidden influence of loyalty programs like Carnival's VIP tiers on operational upgrades. I'm going to show you how to leverage these systems to your advantage, turning guesswork into a plan. You will be equipped to play the upgrade game successfully, which starts with understanding the current landscape of the industry. This entire guide is focused on the major contemporary cruise lines that offer competitive bidding programs, specifically Royal Caribbean, Carnival, NCL, Celebrity, and Princess. While the core strategy remains constant, keep in mind that official policy details like minimum bid increments or blackout dates are always shifting, especially into 2025. Always check the specific line's policy pages for the latest terms and conditions. Our primary assumption is that you're looking to make a significant jump, moving up from an interior or Oceanview cabin into a balcony or even a suite. This is the area where the greatest value and the most intense competition exist. It's important to understand the key context of the modern upgrade landscape. Complimentary upgrades are far less frequent now than they were before 2020. Why? Because cruise lines realized they could monetize that empty space using the bidding programs we'll discuss. Therefore, we're dealing with 2 distinct types of upgrades: the operational upgrade, rare, free, and based on ship logistics, and the bidding upgrade, pay-to-play, competitive, and the most common path today. The biggest mistake first-time cruisers and many occasional travelers make is falling for the allure of the guarantee cabin or GTY. This is the single worst cabin type you can book if your goal is ever to score an operational upgrade. The common mistake is booking that cheapest GTY, the interior guarantee, thinking you've outsmarted the cruise line, hoping that they'll need to move you into a balcony just to fill the ship. This looks cheaper now, but it costs you your upgrade opportunity later. Here's the policy versus the reality. When you book a GTY cabin, you are simply guaranteeing the absolute lowest price for that specific category, interior, Oceanview, or balcony. The moment you pay, the cruise line's first move is to assign you a cabin, often the least desirable one, maybe obstructed, maybe noisy, maybe right next to the elevator. Once that assignment is made, the line considers you handled. You are no longer part of the logistical pool they need to shuffle around. In the system, you become a fixed asset, effectively forgotten when it comes time to hand out those rare free operational upgrades. Savvy cruisers, the ones who consistently move up, know GTYs are only useful for maximizing a discount if you don't care about location. If you want an upgrade, the pro move is to book a specific cabin number in the lowest tier of the category you can afford, like a specific Oceanview or the lowest balcony tier. This puts you directly into the bidding pool, and sometimes if the ship needs to consolidate space, the revenue management team will look at you first. As a pro tip, avoid the GTY and book the cheapest specific cabin you can find. For example, on Carnival, if you book a GTY interior, you get assigned a room. Only then can you participate in the subsequent upgrade offer, often at a higher price point than if you had strategically bid earlier. Your best bet is to secure a non-guarantee room and focus your efforts on the bidding systems. But even the perfect bidding strategy can turn into a hidden fee trap if you don't calculate the true final cost, which brings us to the next critical mistake. Let's address a critical question right now. Is your bid strategy actually losing you money? This is the hidden fee trap of the bidding programs. When you see an email inviting you to bid on a bigger cabin, maybe it's Royal Caribbean's Royal Up or NCL's Upgrade Advantage, you're likely excited by the huge perceived discount. The common mistake most cruisers make is simple. They bid the minimum amount on the highest available cabin, like a massive suite, and just cross their fingers. This is a losing strategy that frequently results in you paying far more than you should. What most cruisers do is focus purely on the lump sum bid. What savvy cruisers do is calculate the true per-night all-in difference for the specific category jump. The system often sets the minimum bid at a price that is disproportionately high for the category you are moving into. For example, if your current Oceanview is $100 per night and the balcony you are bidding on sells for $150 per night, your bid should target that $50 difference. If the minimum bid is set at $80 per night, you're losing money compared to just booking the balcony outright during a sale. Here is the secret calculation. When you win a bid, you are paying for the new room, but you are also paying the associated increased gratuities and port fees if the new cabin category triggers them. This is the fee trap. You must calculate the per-night price difference and then add the estimated total increase in gratuities and non-refundable fees over the course of the cruise. This prevents the "looks cheaper now" illusion from costing you more later. The pro move is to only bid on categories 1 to 2 steps up from your current room. If you're in an interior, bid on an Oceanview or a very specific balcony. Avoid the massive leaps to suites unless the minimum bid is unbelievably low. You'll have a higher success rate and the price will be a genuine value. We've seen hundreds of bids fail because people didn't calculate these fees, leading to disappointment and wasted effort. But even the most meticulously calculated bid, targeting the perfect category, can be overlooked if you don't understand the cruise line's other, often more important priority, your loyalty status. While bidding focuses on your wallet, the ultimate currency for the truly rare complimentary upgrade is your tier status. We're teasing the biggest operational upgrade secret 2 sections from now, and it is entirely dependent on this loyalty dynamic. Policy says that upgrades are purely based on cabin availability and the line's logistical needs. What actually happens on board is that the tiebreaker, the secret skip the line card, is loyalty. If 2 cabins are equally inconveniently located and need to be moved, for example, to free up space for a repair crew, the high-tier member gets priority. Cruise lines are obsessed with retaining their best customers. If they need to consolidate cabins, they will start by identifying guests with high-tier status, like Carnival Platinum Diamond or Royal Caribbean Diamond and above, who are currently booked in an interior or Oceanview. Moving a loyalist into a nicer cabin costs the line nothing, but it delivers massive goodwill and ensures repeat business. This is why loyalty often outranks your initial bid, because the ship's operational needs often align perfectly with rewarding your status. This secret is crucial for specific personas. Families needing adjoining rooms are often prime targets for strategic free upgrades. If a family has 2 separate interior rooms and the line needs to free up space, moving them into a single, larger balcony or suite makes the operation smoother and delights the high-volume travelers. Conversely, solo cruisers in specific cabins, like the single-occupancy NCL studio cabins, are often overlooked in the operational upgrade pool because their rooms are a unique category the line rarely needs to repurpose. If you are a loyal cruiser, be aware of this policy. For instance, Celebrities Captain's Club benefits often include specific language around upgrade priority. The takeaway here is that you must look beyond the initial price and value the long-term benefits of staying loyal to a single brand. It provides an operational advantage that no amount of bidding can truly buy. But sometimes, even loyalty can't save you from a specific booking error that cruise lines are cracking down on as we enter the next season. There is a legendary cheap trick that veteran cruisers used to swear by: booking a last-minute, deep discount guarantee cabin on a popular sailing that was already sold out in the higher categories. The common mistake here was relying on this strategy for an automatic free upgrade, believing the ship had to move them up. This method is increasingly banned in 2025 through aggressive overbooking management, and the stakes are now vacation ending. Due to a significant 2025 update in how lines manage inventory, particularly in low categories, some lines are now strictly overbooking interior and Oceanview cabins. If you book the cheapest GTY on a ship that is truly sold out, you are taking a massive gamble. The pro move is to check the ship manifest unofficially via dedicated forums or third-party apps to see if the sailing is genuinely full, rather than relying on the deep discount as a sign of desperation. The worst-case scenario, which has been documented on sold-out sailings, is that you might be upgraded to a less desirable room, an Oceanview with an obstructed view from a lifeboat or a loud cabin right above the theater, or, in the absolute worst-case scenario, due to operational overbooking, you could be denied boarding entirely and offered compensation instead of the cruise itself. This is the risk of the last-minute GTY trap. A crucial accessibility nuance must be stressed here. Passengers with verified accessibility needs cannot rely on the GTY gamble. Policy dictates that you must book the specific accessible ACC cabin type you require. If you book a standard GTY interior hoping for a free upgrade to an accessible balcony, you risk being assigned a non-compliant room late in the process, which could mean a difficult non-functional cruise experience, or worst of all, being told you cannot sail because the ship is out of compliant cabins. The hidden fee of the GTY is now not money, but the entire vacation itself. Avoiding these logistical failures leads us directly to the source of the rare good upgrade, the operational need. Let's dispel the biggest myth in cruising right now. Your cruise line doesn't care about your birthday. That complimentary upgrade you heard about happening to your neighbor, it wasn't a random act of kindness from the captain. Most people think these free moves are based on luck or celebration, but the stark truth is that free upgrades are strictly operational. Cruise lines don't give away $1,000 rooms because you're nice. They do it because a computer algorithm dictates they must fix a logistical problem on the ship. Operational upgrades are required when the line needs to move guests to fill a problem cabin with a non-revenue guest, consolidate decks for crew maintenance, or prepare a specific block of rooms for a charter group. For example, they may move guests out of a block of interior rooms to make space for specialized repair crew coming on board at the next port. The key is that the move benefits the ship, not the guest. Then there is the compensation upgrade, which only happens if your originally booked cabin has a major confirmed issue, such as a flood, a structural noise problem that cannot be fixed, or a continuous issue with air conditioning. This is the exception, not the rule. The pro tip here is if you encounter even a minor issue upon boarding, like a constantly dripping shower or a strange, persistent vibration, document it immediately and inform guest services. This establishes a paper trail for potential compensation, including an upgrade. There are significant byline nuances here. Aligned like Virgin Voyages is less likely to give operational upgrades because their cabin structure is highly streamlined, with sea terrace rooms making up the bulk of the ship. Their cabins are less varied than traditional lines, meaning they have less need to shuffle people around for consolidation. Traditional lines with high volumes of interior, Oceanview, and balcony categories, like Royal and Carnival, have a greater operational need to move people. Now that we know why they upgrade, for logistical necessity, not for fun, let's discuss when and how to set yourself up for the final score by using the cabin location against the cruise line. This is the counterintuitive hack that separates the amateurs from the true upgrade strategists. It's about using the ship's architecture against the cruise line's operational piece. The common mistake is to book the safest option, a midship Deck 8 balcony, assuming a quiet, comfortable cruise. While this minimizes risk, it also minimizes your chance of an operational upgrade because you're already in a prime, low-maintenance spot. The pro move is to strategically book a known bad cabin, a cabin that's just above the category you ultimately want, knowing that the ship's management will often try to move you to prevent a service complaint from escalating. This is the art of creating low-level leverage. You must become a deck plan detective. The key specifics to look for are cabins located directly under the lido deck or pool, directly above the anchor or bow thrusters, or those adjacent to major late-night noise sources like the disco or nightclub. For example, on Royal Caribbean's Oasis-class ships, cabins directly below the sports deck or the Windjammer buffet are notorious for early morning chair scraping noise. The cruise line knows these are problem areas. The moment you board, document the noise issues politely. The intent here is not to complain unfairly. It is to establish that your room is impacted by a known service area. Since operational upgrades are about fixing a logistical problem, getting you out of that noisy, low-value cabin solves a potential time waster for guest services. They'd much rather move you to a quiet, unsold room 2 categories up than deal with 7 days of recorded noise complaints. If your goal is a free move, aiming for a room that management expects to be problematic is a calculated risk that often pays off. Remember, the cruise line's goal is smooth sailing for everyone, and sometimes that means moving the people in the noisiest rooms first. This principle also applies to the most expensive cabins, where perceived value is everything. Here is a fact that most cruisers refuse to believe. You can lose an upgrade bid even if you bid higher than the actual winner. This is the time waster category trap of the bidding system, and it applies directly to suites. What most people do is fixate on the most luxurious cabin, the grand suite or owner's suite, and overbid, hoping a big number ensures a win. This is often a huge mistake. What savvy cruisers do is focus on the mid-level premium rooms, like the mini-suite or specialized club-class balconies. The reasoning is pure revenue management. Cruise lines get the lowest return on investment, or ROI, on their very biggest, most unique suites. They would much rather accept 4 separate $300 winning bids for 4 mini-suites, generating $1,200 in revenue, than one single $1,000 bid for the massive, hard-to-fill owner's suite. The goal of the bidding system is to maximize total revenue, not to simply accept the single highest bid. Bidding too high on the wrong category is a time waster for your own effort. This is critical because bidding for a luxury-focused cabin like NCL's Haven, MSC's Yacht Club, or Celebrity's Retreat is the highest risk-reward proposition. These are line-within-a-line experiences that include bundled, non-monetized perks like dedicated restaurants, private pool areas, and concierge services. When you bid for these, you must factor in the value of these included amenities. You are entering a pay-to-play segment. If the difference between a standard balcony and the bid for suite is, say, $1,000, you need to ask yourself if the included perks are truly worth that additional cost, or if you'd be better off saving that money and buying a specialty dining package and priority access separately. Focus your competitive bids where the cruise line is most desperate for quick, incremental revenue, the mini suites and club categories. The strategy will maximize your success rate. But before we reveal the absolute best time window to place a winning bid, there's a quick housekeeping item we need to cover. We've covered the biggest mistakes, from the GTY Trap to the secret noise hack, but we haven't yet revealed the single most critical piece of data, the precise time window when cruise lines are most desperate to accept your bid. It's a time slot most people miss entirely, and it's coming up next. Before we dive into that crucial final hack, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been denied an upgrade bid you thought you deserved? Let me know your story in the comments below. Your experiences help our community of savvy cruisers. And if you're finding this strategic breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe. The next section is the most critical for budget cruisers looking for the ultimate last-minute value. This is it, the big tip that puts all the other strategies into motion and can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. When do you hit send on that upgrade bid? Most people bid impulsively, typically 30 to 60 days out, right after they receive the initial upgrade invitation. What they won't tell you is that during this early phase, the cruise line's revenue management team is in a holding pattern. They only process those early bids if they have high confidence in filling the ship at a higher price point later on. Your early bid is essentially market research for them. The real sweet spot is the 72 to 48 hour window right before final check-in. Why is this so critical? Because it's 72 hours out, the cruise line has the absolute final manifest. They know exactly which cabins remain empty and which guests have either canceled or failed to make final payments. They are no longer focused on profit maximization. They are focused on damage control, trying to fill the final X million-dollar gap in revenue before the ship leaves port. An empty balcony cabin generates $0, while a lower accepted bid generates some revenue and offsets operational costs. During this 72 to 48 hour period, the algorithms loosen significantly. The lines often send a final, targeted, lower minimum email invite to specific guests who'd previously shown interest or who have high loyalty status. This is the last-minute flash sale you've been waiting for. The pro move is to hold your bid. If your first attempt failed or was too low, wait until that 72-hour mark, and if you haven't received a final offer, this is the time to be proactive. Call your travel agent or the cruise line directly and inquire about last-minute non-published upgrade specials. This is particularly valuable for budget cruisers who should save their most competitive bid for this final slot when desperation is high and the accepted value is lower. In contrast, premium cruisers, those who prioritize a specific, highly desirable location, like an aft-facing balcony or a specific haven suite, should bid early. They want location over price, so they lock it in when the inventory is wide open. For everyone else, patience is the ultimate tool. By waiting for this final auction window, you are playing the upgrade game when the house is most vulnerable. Your understanding of this deadline, rather than your initial bid amount, will be the ultimate factor in scoring that suite. This timing brings us to our final wrap-up of all the hidden moves we've discussed. We've peeled back the curtain on the entire upgrade system. Let's quickly recap the essential steps you must master. First, avoid the GTY Trap, which is the single biggest mistake that kills your free upgrade chances. Second, Always calculate the true cost of your bid, factoring in the hidden fees to prevent the bidding blunder that cost you more than booking retail. Third, leverage the power of loyalty tier status, as it often serves as the unwritten skip-the-line pass for operational moves. And finally, use the golden 72-hour window before sailing to place your most strategic, winning bid. The ultimate secret to moving from an interior to a balcony or even a haven suite is a combination of flexibility and research. Be flexible with your cabin location and research the ship's specific deck plan noise issues for leverage. Choose a line that aligns with your goal. Use NCL or Celebrity if you prefer a system based on competitive bidding, or stick with Carnival or Royal Caribbean if you prioritize loyalty-based operational moves. Now that you know exactly how to secure the perfect cabin for less, the next question is how to save money once you are actually on board. Click right here for our essential guide on the 10 hidden fees cruise lines charge on board that they don't tell you about. You've cracked the cabin code. Now let's conquer the onboard nickel and diming.